everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Jumbled Mama. I'm back today with a very exciting video. If you saw the title, then you kind of know what this video is going to be about. So I just want to talk about the job, and that's it. That way, if someone else is out there looking at this similar position, wanting to get some information from somebody that went through the process, is actually getting ready to start working very soon with Apple, then this video is for you. So I want you all to know that if you're in the middle of this process and you're like, this is taking very long, does this mean that I don't have the position? What is going on? If you feel like you're in the complete dark, that's okay. That's a part of the process, and I want you all to know that it can be a very long process, but once it gets rolling, it really moves very quickly. I started the process back in February 13th of this year, so 2018. And I know people that I will be training with started back like last year, like October through December time. So it is a lengthy process, so you do have to be patient if this is something that you want. So the initial process is pretty much seeing if your college that you currently attend is one of their participating universities. Once you do that, you submit your resume and fill out a very basic profile of your education, your work, and answer some questions as well. So once I submitted that process, I had a recruiter reach out to me on April 4th. When that recruiter reaches out to you, they pretty much want to know that you still meet the basic requirements of the job. In this same email, they will tell you the potential start date for training, and they will list some training options, like they will list like different hours and days on there, and you'll kind of see if that's something that you can work with. And it asks you to be available for 9 weeks of training, so that means no time off. You have to be committed to 9 weeks of training. And the other requirement that they want to make sure you're meeting as well is that you're going to be enrolled in that participating university for a year. So you have to be, you can't be graduating like in 6 months or anything like that. This will not be the program for you. If you meet all of those requirements and you're good to go, then you reply back to that email and say, yes, we're good to go. I still meet those basic requirements. This is my phone number. You can reach me at this time. Those types of things. They'll kind of give you a date range of when they're available, and you'll just tell them when you're available on those dates. So I love that in the email, the recruiter also includes a note what area code they're calling from, so you can actually get that phone call. But I'm going to tell you all something. Even with all of that, somehow I missed the initial call, but luckily for me, I had another recruiter reach out to me, very same email. This time the start date was going to be July 2nd. Instead of a June start date, which was a little bit better for me anyway, so I think it all worked out the way it's supposed to. Now this recruiter called me, and I missed her call too, so please, people, do not be like me. But I had she reached out to me again, third time's a charm. We had our conversation. When the recruiter called, it was like, I don't know how to explain the type of call that it is. It's kind of like you're just chatting about your experience. You're talking about your education. You're saying how your experience could help you with this job at Apple. You're also talking about why you want to work for Apple. They give you information about the job as a whole, making sure that you still meet those very basic requirements. That recruiter call is very important because that's going to get you to the next step of the interview. So you want to make sure that you are prepared and that you are answering the questions to the best of your ability, and making sure that you go over your resume, go over your education, look over what you submitted originally, and make sure that those answers line up, because they are checking to see if you're going to answer the same way that you did in your basic profile. So once you get through that initial call with your recruiter, if you moved on to the next step, congratulations. You are now getting ready to interview. On May 3rd, my recruiter sent all of the details letting me know that I'm moving forward with the process. And then also in the email, she's talking about that after training you get a chance to pick 3 semester days that you would like to work, and the shifts usually start after 4 p.m. Central Time, and you will then pick a Saturday shift. That'll be an 8-hour shift. Keep in mind that this position is part-time. It's only 20 hours, so if you're looking for something full-time, you might want to look on the Apple website and see if they have any full-time work-at-home positions. Next in line is to complete your Apple application. It's just pretty much the whole profile of what you filled out initially. Like the first thing that you filled out is just like an interest form type of thing. They just want to see what your background is and how you could be an asset to the company. And this application is more in depth. It's actually like a job application, I guess you could say. And then once you complete that part, you'll schedule your virtual interview. Yes, virtual interview is next. So I filled out the Apple application, and then I went ahead and scheduled my virtual interview. I scheduled my interview for May 30th at 4 p.m. Central Time. You want to make sure that you go ahead before your interview, make sure that you have the application downloaded. You are going to have to download an app. It's called HireVue. You want to go through and run tests to make sure that it's running. You want to test where you're going to be sitting, making sure that everything looks good, and all of those things, making sure that you can hear yourself. You can run a lot of different tests before that happens, so make sure that you're prepared, so that's one less thing that you have to worry about. You want to log on 10 minutes before your interview time, and then you're ready to go. As far as what to wear, I would say be business casual. So you might want to wear like a button down, just to appear professional. Of course, they can't see anything but like here anyway. So a button down, it's just, a nice touch. And you're going to have this interview with the Applecare manager. I don't know if I mentioned that. It was just a conversation. So do not stress yourself about the interview, but make sure that you are prepared. And when I say prepared, I'm going to tell you what I mean. And be prepared to talk about your experience in detail. Be sure to get straight to the point. Do not go into too many details. For example, they might ask you, how do you deal with a tough customer? How do you deal with a lot of calls? How do you, those things. So if you worked in a call center environment, then you are going to be really, really prepared to answer those questions. But if you haven't, you might want to look up like call center interview questions and answers just to prepare yourself. I say anybody do that. Customer service, if you've never worked or anything like that, you want to get as much information as you can. And if you haven't worked a job before, you haven't been in customer service, if you've done volunteer work, use that experience because it's still very helpful. If you interned, anything, draw from all of your experiences and let them know that, I can troubleshoot, I'm here, I can help people. So that's what you want to kind of drill in on your interview. Besides like discussing your experience, they are going to throw some questions out there. I want you to not overthink any of the questions that you get. They want to see how you would handle a call, basically. So they're going to do a lot of like, hey, if this customer was to call and this was to happen, what would you do? You don't want to go for the very technical answer. You want to be very practical. So they're saying, for example, this customer is calling in saying that their Mac computer won't turn on. Right? Now, if you know nothing about Mac, you know nothing about technology, you might get stumped and you're like, well, I don't know what to ask this person. So to buy yourself time, just do like a run through of like you're answering this call for Apple. You're like, hello, thank you for calling Apple. I'll be glad to assist you today. You said that the issue was that you're not able to turn on your Mac computer. Okay, so that is a way of you saying, okay, I heard the question, I'm repeating it back, making sure that we're solving the issue at hand. And then you will probably tell your Applecare manager that I will ask this customer a series series of questions like when did this start happening? What do you mean it won't turn on? Are you seeing any error messages? Is it just a blank screen? You want to ask those questions and get to the bottom line of what the issue is. Do not overthink those questions that they throw at you, because that's what they're looking to do. They want to see what steps you would take to answer a call. They don't care if you actually solve the problem or not. They just want to see how you would help a customer and how well your troubleshooting skills are. Because they know that training will get you where you need to be, and that you will have the information and resources available to you when training starts, so you'll be able to answer those questions. They will ask you about your technology. They will probably ask you about what your equipment, what your workspace is like. You do want to have a workspace that has a door, so that way it's closed off from the rest of the house. So if you're a mom like I am and you're trying to do this position, know that your children cannot be like, you can't watch your children with this job. You're going to have to be really focused on your position. I'm just going to tell you right now that this is not one of those where the baby can be beside you and you can work type of positions. It's not like that at all. So once you get through with the interview, I don't even think the interview took that long. It was just awkward because it's a virtual interview. You're seeing this person beside you. But like I said, think of it as you're just talking to someone, having a very casual conversation, at the same time presenting yourself in the best possible light. At the end of the interview, you're not going to know if you got the job or not. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not going to know. They're going to pretty much tell you, okay, give us 2 weeks to make a decision. It sounds like something that you want to do after the interview. You just let your Applecare manager know that I'm very interested in this position. I can't wait to hear back. I can't wait to hear back with the details of my application, or something along those lines. And that call is pretty much done, and you pretty much play the waiting game. Before your interview, you will probably have a chance to join a virtual information session. It's going to give you all the information that you need about the position, what they're looking for, how the interview process is going to go. Everything that you need to know will be in this virtual information session. The virtual information session actually happened after my interview. So I had already went to my interview before the virtual information session. So when I went to the virtual information session, it was a lot of great information. And if you're a little nervous, you're a little hesitant about the position, you're not really sure how this is all going to go, attend your virtual information session first. Because you can ask recruiters, you can ask Apple managers questions, get all the information that you need before going through the process of interviewing. Because a lot of good questions came up. Can you work from a dorm? You might not be able to do that. Another question I saw was going abroad. That might not be, the best option if you are planning to go abroad, because this is going to require a year commitment. So if you got any travel things or anything like that, this might not be the best time for you to try to do this position. All the information that you need, you will get in that virtual information session. So if you're a little hesitant about the job, do attend that before the interview. I did the process, the initial process. I did the recruiter call, and I've done the Applecare application, and then we did our interview, then we did the information session. Now, how did I know that I got the job? I had a recruiting manager reach out to me, pretty much telling me if she's going to call from a certain area code with the status on my application and interview. I was sent that email June 6th. I interviewed May 30th. So the recruiting manager calls me, and once we did our hellos and things like that, she right off the bat tells me that I got the job. The recruiting manager call is not very long, but it is a lot of information, so make sure you have your pen and paper, because you can get distracted by exciting news and kind of forget everything that you need to do. So with that call, you pretty much are saying, okay, you got the job. Do you want to accept this job? They go over the position again, the requirements. They do this a lot because I guess they want people to be really, really prepared for the position. So I was like, yes, I'm still very much interested in the position. I can't wait to start. So to give you your dates, what kind of training that you want. We start July 2nd. She pretty much tell you about your benefits, tell you about how much you'll be paid. You do get paid more than minimum wage. Not sure if it's different for every state, so I won't mention it what it is. But it is more than minimum wage. It's pretty good pay if that's what you're looking for. And then she goes over all the paperwork that you must submit in order to be ready by July 2nd. This is when the ball gets rolling. It's like everything was so slow. Everything was kind of like creeping up. And now like, okay, you got the job. You got to do this, that. So you want to make sure that you're paying close attention to your emails, that you are submitting everything that you need because you have a very small window to get everything done. Be prepared to like send out all this information right away. Different paperwork that you'll have to fill out is a background check that is through Higher Right. You're going to fill out your I-9 paperwork with your 2 documents. You are going to have to take that to a facility so they can process that for your I-9. You also are going to get your Apple offer letter. You're going to receive an email that tells you that you're almost there, that your paperwork has been accepted and it's being processed. That's good to go. That's the kind of email that you want to look out for. Apple manager reached out to me June 18th to let me know that he'll be calling. You verify email address, you verify your phone number, you verify your home address. They want to get all this information because they'll be sending your equipment the week before training date, the Thursday or Friday before your training date starts. That Monday you'll receive your equipment. Today is June 23rd, and this is the day that I submitted my I-9 documentation. So I am pretty much good to go, waiting for everything to process, but I'm on track to starting July 2nd, and I honestly cannot wait. To prepare for your interview, write down 3 to 4 situations where you helped a customer and you had a positive outcome. With that situation, think of 2 sentences to describe it very, very well. Think about what you did during that call that made a positive difference. And you want to also outline how what you did really helped the situation of the customer. If you've dealt with angry callers, you want to make sure that you write down your step-by-step process of how you deal with angry customers. So if you have never worked in call center or customer service, do go and do some research about those type of questions. There's 1,000,001 Google articles out there that can help you. It's not important to be like tech savvy during your interview. They just want to see how well you could troubleshoot and help a customer, because they're going to provide that information during training. And by the end, you should have those tech savvy skills that you need. The interview is a lot about your personal experience, education, what you want to do with your degree. They take people from all walks of life, so you don't have to necessarily be in a tech field to get this position. Another thing I want to mention is that with the training, you do want to pay close attention to the material that you're learning, because at the end of the training you will have a final that you need to pass. So just make sure you actually focus with your training and actually learning the information that you need to learn. And with the final exam at the end, that's your way to secure your job placement with Apple to continue with the college program for the next year. And I think that's pretty much it. Good luck with your process, and I hope you also get the job. So for anybody else out there, again, I'm Jumbled Mama. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video to your friends and family in case someone needs a position like this.